So when we booked the tickets in December, I thought, great, we scored a nice ticket, good price, with a layover in the middle of the trip. Everyone knows, everyone's seen the news that in the Middle East at the moment it's a big mess. I was watching the news every day thinking, oh no, what have we done? Now, we can say we have officially moved. We are here in the Philippines. Actually, we are here at Clark Parade Grounds, an area that I spoke about in a previous video actually. Well, I can only say that the last month or so has been hectic like anything else. I've spoken about it in last videos. It's a tough period saying goodbye to our beloved house, which I will show you a little bit here, that we are emptying the last bits from our house, packing the last Balikbayan boxes in our own home before we move to my mum, preparing the house for turnover at the notary. Well, I had to say that to me, I discussed it with Judy, it feels like when you're emptying your house and everything goes back to bare minimum and stock, like an empty box, you lose a bit of touch with your house because your personal belongings are no longer there, it's empty and it just becomes a concrete box again. But at the notary, I felt more emotion actually than I was actually expecting. When I had to surrender the keys to the new owners, even though they are great people, a great couple, a Dutch guy with also an Asian lady, so that's coincidentally funny. I felt that chunk in my throat that I thought, oh wow, this is us letting go of our house, and that's done. That's done quite a little actually. And that was also the day that we are already for a couple of days at my mom's place, because the Saturday before we had to turn over the house on Wednesday, we moved to my mom because our bed was moving out, our furniture was moving out that Saturday, so the house was not easily livable anymore. So the last week before departure, we stayed at my mom's with her husband, and that was great. It was a great way of spending time with her and her husband, and with Theo and his grandma and Bonus grandpa. And I love the fact that we choose to do that instead of an hotel, because a hotel has a lot of inconveniences. It's usually small, and the house of my mom is warm, literally with love, and she was taking care of us because we had long nights. We expected that we were already far and it's only going to be the last few bits, but we ended up spending almost every day until midnight or even later at our place, to empty everything out, clear everything out, make everything ready for turnover, and that was a lot of work and very little sleep. The last week with my mom, it was actually quite fun, beside the fact that it was loving, because she and her husband helped greatly with packing the last Balikbayan boxes, which was greatly needed because we could use all the help that we could get. And she and her husband, it was fun to see. I'll share a quick video here where they are using the taping machine to wrap the last boxes, where you put some personal paintings that we had on there, and it was greatly fun to collaborate with them, basically helping us make this great step. The flight, we usually, when we flew to Philippines before, we fly to Asia. So prior times we fly to Hong Kong for a transfer to Manila, we fly to Singapore for a transfer to Manila, and to Taiwan in the past. And this time, when I was booking the tickets, I saw a flight to Qatar, which I've never been in the Middle East, but I thought, hey, wait a minute, normally from Amsterdam to somewhere in Asia, it's usually 11.5 to 12 hours, and then the last few bit is just 2.5. So the first flight is really long, especially with Theo. For him, he needs to let go of his energy, and on a 12-hour flight, that's difficult, obviously, because you don't want to bother your co-passengers too much with a running kid around an airplane where most of the people are trying to sleep. So I thought, hey, having a layover in Qatar, the first flight is 6 hours and a bit, second flight is 8 hours and a bit. That's kind of like half-half, would be nice. So when we booked the tickets in December, I thought, great, we scored a nice ticket, good price, with a layover in the middle of the trip. Very nice, but everyone knows, everyone's seen the news that in the Middle East at the moment it's a big mess. So the month leading up to our departure, I was watching the news every day thinking, oh no, what have we done? Actually considering, should we let go of this ticket and buy another ticket to lay over in Singapore, but then you're throwing away quite some money. So, well, we were following the news anxiously to see if everything was going to be all right with our trip. And actually, our flight, it was great. Everything went smooth. We had a layover at Qatar for about 3 hours, and everything went great. And we left Amsterdam on a Sunday, February the 22nd. Yeah, that's 22nd. And that time there was no no mess. Yeah, it was a mess. It was tension, but there was no mess yet in the Middle East. So our trip was fine, and only a couple of days later, all hell broke loose in the Middle East. So we thank God very, very much on our bare knees that we were spared for being stuck in the Middle East or anything like that. We had a really smooth ride, and here you can see us arriving to Clark Airport after a long trip, being ready to go home, our new home. Which is still strange to say, to be honest, because right now we are here for a couple of weeks and we are exploring Pampanga, exploring schools for Theo still, because we haven't yet made up our mind what to choose. And the realization is slowly sinking in that we ain't going back. And partly that's exciting, and partly, I don't want to make this video dramatic again, but it also hurts. We kind of yesterday or the day before, we had our first homesick moment, realizing we ain't going back, we miss our friends, going through this beautiful but also stressful exploration of this new area that we call home now. Sometimes you like to take a break and just be for a night with your old friends and talk to them about everything you see and go through, and we can't. We cannot just drop by anymore to our friends and have a mental break for a night, having a beer or a cola and discuss what we've been through. We can only do that by video call, but the time difference between us and the Netherlands, it's 7 hours later in Philippines, which makes it terribly difficult to speak to them, because when they're finished their job around 5 p.m. it's already midnight here. So it's not that easy to catch up, it's not that easy to just call a friend, because usually you're calling them during work and they have a couple of minutes, but they also have to go back to work. So yeah, it's not all roses, and I've said that in the last video, it's not gonna be all rosy, and it ain't. It's not. Well, after our arrival to Clark, we went home. It's furnished, but only that, no accessories, nothing to make it your own. So the first couple of days, with the immense jet lag, we had to also go through doing big groceries, getting stocks, getting stuff to eat, getting everything, getting some decorations for the house, making it more of our own, more ambience-like. Here you can see us strolling through the SM hypermarket, I believe it's called. And then actually we were looking for a specific car because it was to our liking, in the way it looks, the way it's set up. And that is an adventure on itself, because this was at the end of the first week. We had to drive 3 hours to go and see the car, because we saw a car with low mileage, this and that. It looked great, and via another contact we have in the region, we fixed a mechanic that could join us to put the OBD reader in the car and check it for faults to see if it's all okay technically. But of course, we are awake at 6 a.m. in the morning to make the 3-hour drive before rush hour to see the car. And of course, one night before we had to leave early in the morning, the mechanic texts me like, hey, sorry, I'm hospitalized after he became unexpectedly ill, which is of course terrible for him, and I don't know him personally and I hope he's okay, but that put us in a position that at 10 p.m. the night before we had to drive, we were out of a mechanic, so we didn't have any. Well, we could stress a lot about it, but stress ain't gonna change anything, so we just tried to, I put a post on Reddit, see if anyone knew someone. Didn't help really finding anyone actually, but we just had to trust the process, trust we're gonna find a way. But on the way to Das Marinas was the area where we bought the car. Junie managed to contact someone via her old network, because she used to work in car accessories a long time ago, before she ever came to Holland in 2014. And she managed to find a car mechanic, a professional car mechanic with his own OBD reader, loads of experience, and he met us at the car dealership to check the car for us. He did a great job during the test drive, reading the live data from the car and making sure the car was all okay, the mileage was original, no tampering, no flooding, no everything. And the car turned out to be great. And we ended up making a deal with the dealership to buy the second-hand car. We make a deal, we go for lunch on the street of the dealership to celebrate the purchase. I transfer them the money. First, the app I use says it will be delivered in 5 minutes, but 1 minute later I receive an email. Transfer on hold, check for AML. I was like, what's AML? So I check it, anti-money laundering investigation, because you transfer money from the Netherlands to a Philippine account that is not in your name, and I get a notification that this might take 1 to 2 business days, and this was on a Saturday. So I was like, oh no. We fixed friends from the area to join us so they could drive back our rental car, so we could bring back our new car. And well, we were happy that they were there, but technically they joined for nothing because, yeah, we were not able to bring the car because the payment was not in account of the dealership. Difficult. Again, for a little bit I was a bit annoyed because I thought I put this up as a dummy payment yesterday night and the banner said 5 minutes, so why wouldn't they just put that it's gonna take a couple of days so we could just have some honest communication with the dealership, having the right expectations for everyone. So we turned back the 3-hour drive empty-handed, no car, while the money was already out of our account, and that didn't feel super nice, to be honest. But we were planning to travel to Boracay for a couple of days because the week after was gonna be my birthday, and before we left the Netherlands we thought, hey, before Judy ever came to Europe a long time ago, she didn't really travel Philippines much, and me, I haven't yet in my life seen a white beach or a blue sea, the way that Boracay looks like. So we knew the moment we left Das Marinas without the car, like, okay, this is gonna be not a couple of days because we are not there when the payments will go through. So it will have to wait until after Boracay. Well, yeah, things go the way they are, and we expected struggles. And this is not even really a struggle because when you're in Boracay, you cannot use the car that you bought anyway. So it wasn't big of a problem. It was just a little disappointment to get over. But Boracay, it's a treat that we had the ability to go there. My Lord, what is that island a beautiful place to be. I've read mixed stories about it. It's overcrowded, it's too touristic, and it's not the way it looks, the way it used to be anymore. But I don't know what it used to be, but it's the most beautiful beach I've seen in my life. We left early in the morning to Clark Airport, which is quite close to our place, so that's really nice. Traveled by a shuttle bus to the airport, then we had to fly to Clark, which you can see here. From Qatar Airport we had to take a little bus to the boat, and the boat ride was, I'm used to quite wild boat rides because my father owns, or he's in the process of selling it, but he had a speedboat, so I'm used to wild rides. Theo not so much, so he was a bit like, oh my god, what's going on, because here you can see the boat ride was quite wild, and then you literally plant the boat right onto the beach, get off the boat, back in the bus to the hotel. And here you can see our room. We booked a nice room for my birthday stay, and it was an amazing stay. It was the second day after our arrival that we woke up on my birthday, in which Judy fixed an amazing photo shoot that we had all together with Theo on, I forgot the name of the beach. You have in Boracay you have station 1, 2, 3, and then above on the map you have another beach kind of in the corner. That was the beach that the photo shoot was at, and it was amazing. The moment we came walking onto that beach, I was like, my gulai. This is the beach you know from the Microsoft wallpapers on your computer back in the day. White beach, turquoise sea, white beautiful boats laying on the beach. It was amazing. After the photo shoot, we were brought to the photo shoot with a tuk-tuk, they believe they call it, because they don't have motorized tricycles in Boracay. It's all with electrification. So the tuk-tuk that brought us to the beach, we agreed that later on that day he will drive us across the island to see all the beautiful spots, because we only had a couple of days there. So later on that afternoon he picked us up, and for 3 hours long he drove us across the island, seeing all kinds of beautiful places like the mangroves that you could see here. I forgot the name. There was like this rock with a hole on it. It was a nice place where we could try the sea urchin, which is like kind of like a seafood that they were picking out of the sea right under our nose, and you could freshly try it with some vinegar and some other kind of spicy sauce, which was very, very must-up. When we came back, somewhere in Boracay, by the way, the additional questions from the bank came. We answered the questions, payment went through. So when we came back on the Saturday, the 7th of March, the payment was confirmed by the dealership that they receive it. So we made an agreement that they come to bring the car, so we didn't have to come back all the way to Das Marinas because we didn't have our rental car anymore. So they came to bring the car to Pampanga, which was really nice. And on the morning of the Sunday that the car was gonna come, we received all of a sudden a call from the reception that they received a call from the Balikbayan that they were gonna make the delivery from the first Balikbayan boxes we sent in early December. So we were like, holy moly, this is the greatest day so far after arrival, beside the whole beautiful Boracay adventure, because all of a sudden in one day we're gonna receive our car and the first Balikbayan boxes with my beloved coffee machine. And so it happened. Literally The car arrived around 1 p.m. and 1 hour later we receive a call from the Balikbayan delivery service that they're going to be there in a couple of minutes. So we received the boxes, we received the car, we unpacked the boxes with Theo's toys, his stuffed toys for in bed. Like, we are only 2 weeks here, but the boxes have arrived. Yay! Theo's stuffed puppets, our coffee machine, yo, play cars. Teddy bear, you're really proud of for the seatbelt. Shall we open the boxes?
Yeah.
It was such a happy day. We haven't owned a car for quite a long time. I've driven a company car, which is not your own property. So it's an experience receiving your own car. It's not a fancy limousine, but it's our own, and that feels nice. It's an adventure buying your own car again and having something to travel around, because that's actually what we like to do. I don't call it a hobby, but some activity that we like to do is just driving around, experiencing new villages, places, nature. And renting a car here in Philippines is not cheap. It's obviously cheaper than in the Netherlands, but owning your car is not profitable. Obviously, you have it loses value, but renting a car long term is really expensive. So we decided quite early on we're gonna buy our own vehicle, not brand new, because that's a waste of money. We don't value a car that much. So well, the first stuff has arrived. That's great. We're happy with that. We're happy with the surroundings. We come here to Clark quite often to go for a nice walk. You can rent like a go-kart, I believe, like with the pedals for Theo. He loves that. He loves cars. He loves doing the drifting with his cars in the Netherlands, and here he can pedal around Clark Parade Ground. It's a breeze. With all these trees here, the shades, we can walk, exercise, move, and it's lovely. It's lovely and conflicting. Conflicting that we're not coming back. We cannot easily see our friends and family, which hurts, but it's nice exploring a new area. Overall, we are here now for 2.5 weeks or so. Things are going fine. We are fine. Theo is sometimes asking, hey, when are we going back? And that stings a little bit too, because we have to kind of explain. We honestly did that in the Netherlands, explain to him we're gonna move there. It's not a vacation, we're gonna live there. But for him, yeah, he's only 4 years old, so it's difficult for him to comprehend what living in a new country is like. For me, it's difficult to comprehend what living in a new country is like. For him, he doesn't quite understand. We visited some schools, which for him is also very overwhelming, because he's still in the getting used to everything phase. That this is it, Pangsit, we're staying here. And then all of a sudden he's confronted with all these schools where kids are greeting him in classes, where we get a tour to see the school. It's overwhelming in a way for all three of us, and we all three feel homesick to the people that we know, the people we feel comfortable with, and it's a lot. But I'm happy that we can show in this way, with this update video, where we are and where we stand at this point. Well, in the coming weeks, we mostly have to make up our mind about the school we're gonna pick for Theo, because summer holiday is coming soon in the Philippines. It's April and May here. And there is some summer activity kind of things that you can enroll him for too. And we would love to have him in that, so he can kind of slowly ease into the school thing instead of directly go into class. So that's what's coming up first in the coming weeks. And well, I hope you take along, subscribe. Don't forget to like the video and share it to your network. So the more people see, the more the merrier. And see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.